Network Entertainment.
And welcome to my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. In my podcast, I like to speak to visionaries, business owners, and entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about doing business, what are their success secrets, and can we implement those success secrets in our own businesses. And today is a very, very special episode for me because I've been a big fan of this girl since she was very small. And right now, I'm so glad how she has come into her own. Please welcome Kush of the Good Gang over here.
Thank you, Tito RJ.
What a pleasure to have you over here. And she also has her own podcast as well. I don't know if I'll ever guess there, but then her podcast is the Bad
B Bible.
Bad B Bible. But tell us a bit more about the Bad B Bible. What do you guys who do you guest over there?
Anything about being a strong, independent woman, that's what they like to listen to.
Perfect. And who have been your guests there so far?
I've had a lot. I had BJ Pascual, so photographer, celebrity photographer. I had Zainab, the YouTuber, Bea Boris, a lot of young, up-and-coming artistas and women.
Fantastic. Okay, now I'm gonna go here because what I really find interesting is your own entrepreneurial journey. How you created everything from your own laway, from your own grit, from your own blood, sweat, and tears. You've built your own companies, and the first one that people know of is what they call the Good Gang.
Yes.
Tell me what the Good Gang is all about.
So what a lot of people don't know is it actually started as a pasabay account.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Okay.
So in 2018, late 2018, I was traveling all the time, and of course you're shopping, diba? But at that age, you don't have a lot of money. So what I would do is I'd say, okay, I'm just gonna buy some extras for my friends and then sell it to them. Because a lot of them would message them on and be like, Coach, can you buy this for me? Can you add one more sock for me? Like this, like that. I'd be posting kasi what I'm buying. Until it kind of grew and grew. Until I had maybe about 5,000 followers pa lang naman. But a lot of people were making pasabay to a point where I couldn't pasabay just a few things na. I would have to buy like balikbayan boxes. And so I would buy boxes of clothes from Bangkok, Japan, China, like all around the world, filling up the boxes with different kinds of clothes, mostly for girls. And what ended up happening after a couple months was I wanted to design my own clothes na. Because COVID was happening. And what was so bad was that some of the clothes that I was buying from, let's say, Bangkok, they started selling it on Shopee na rin.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So my competitor,
you've lost your competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Parang ganyan, oh.
My competitor was Shopee. So now, syempre, they were selling it on Shopee at the exact price, right? Mine with my patong, I just lost, just like that. So we started to develop our own clothes 2019 to 2020. Early 2021, I started to have the idea na, maybe clothing isn't for me just because you need a lot of capital talaga to keep it rolling, to drop collections very fast, diba? Kasi like the fashion market now, they can just go online on Shein or all of these things. It's so expensive. So I said, maybe it's not for me. But because I had experience in events na, I worked in agencies before, I worked brand side naman before, and I started to think to myself, okay, maybe when things start to open up again, when COVID comes to an end, maybe I can explore doing events. And so what we started to do was a weekly Wednesday party, all ladies night only. Like it was only kind of marketed towards girls. We had drink promos, and I feel like that's not a new thing naman eh. Diba? Like girls nights. There's always ladies nights. But I think because we timed it at a time where things had just started to open up, and the K-12 kids, they never partied pa.
So that was like coming out of the COVID lockdown, right? So people they started letting up, they were more opening up the social scene, parang ganyan.
Social scene. And also imagine all the teens that weren't able to party, right? Like they didn't have prom, they didn't have their grad ball. So they were going to us to like revenge party, quote unquote. So we did over 100 Wednesdays straight. Like that was almost 2.5-ish years. Combined with Friday nights, we started to add days throughout the week, and then we did bigger and bigger parties until we were hitting about 1,000 packs per party.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of that ticketed also. And then we'd have sponsors syempre come in. And then from there, I feel like people got tired of drinking na rin. They were like, okay, we've drank.
We've revenge partied out.
Yeah,
Parang
we're
ganyan.
partying out. We're done. We're tired. What ended up happening was I said, okay, it's time to think about daytime events naman. So that's when we started to do these thrift or flea markets on the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, we had a space in Recto, the warehouse in Recto, and we would have up to 60 vendors there. But a lot of the vendors were even influencers and celebrities selling their secondhand clothes. So you'll have people like Nadine Lustre, you'll have like James Reid, people like that selling their closets. And it became a really big thrift slash like flea market. Then we started to develop other concepts like matcha market, different themes to it na parang ganon mixed in with thrifting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is what Good Gang was originally. It
Yes.
became sort of like a events.
Events.
Right?
We found ourselves in events.
From clothing, you
Yeah.
evolved to events because you pivoted first because out of need, right?
Out of need.
Out of need. But you saw, and I'm wearing now my entrepreneurial
Yeah.
hat. You said, okay, there was a problem that you could solve or an opportunity that nobody else saw.
Yes.
So how did you pivot from that opportunity of from the clothes to saying this is events? It's an
Yeah.
opportunity that nobody's solving.
Yes, because it's so far then, diba? And it all started with me saying and looking at my closet and saying, wow, I have so many clothes. I have nowhere to go to. Diba? Because it started in clothes. So imagine my closet grew and grew. It started from 2 closets to a walk-in closet until even my office had a closet na. So I said, wow, I wish I had a place that I could just wear all these things to. And I noticed kasi at the clubs these days, or I don't know if it's just nowadays, na people don't dress up like they used to. So I think what made our event special was every Wednesday was a different theme like for your outfit. So parang, let's say the first Wednesday was everyone has to wear pink. Next Wednesday, everyone has to wear black, or these themes like, oh, Barbie week or Bratz doll week. Until parang I felt like I did every single theme na Baywatch, Euphoria, every movie.
So sulit na buong closet, parang ganyan.
Everything.
Oh.
I got to really exhaust my closet talaga.
Oo.
Yeah. That's how I pivoted. When I was looking at my closet, I said, I wish I could wear these somewhere.
And you were very lucky. And that's what you had.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that you already had built up a follower
Yes.
base, right? So that you were able to just bring those followers
Yes.
into the events. But the scary part there, or the challenge there was that would these followers
Yeah.
instantly translate from buying clothes to
Yes.
you to go to the events? How did you handle that?
I think they were all thinking the same thing eh. Na, wow, we've just been locked up for 2-3 years. We have nowhere to wear all these clothes. We haven't seen our friends in a while. And so initially when we first posted it, they just thought it was 1 or 2 nights lang. Until I guess the feeling of FOMO or that they were, missing out on a great night or great opportunity because they'd see the posts after it. They'll see the stories or even during the night they're swiping through Instagram. They're saying, "Ay, everyone's there.
Okay.
I'm not there," right? I think that's what helped it also.
Fantastic. So Good Gang it's an ongoing business that
It's
you
an
have.
ongoing business, but now we only do 2 big parties or night events annually. So our Good Gang Prom in February and then our Halloween in October. And then in between, we have a lot of thrift events and flea markets.
I see.
Yeah.
So this is an ongoing event that you have. But then
Yes.
you also built another business.
I built another business called Good Media naman because what ended up happening with, let's say, our parties or our flea markets, brands would come in and they'd say, hey, can we sponsor your event? Syempre ako, like, yes, of course, sponsor our event. But sometimes the sponsors, they want to be the bida na.
Of
diba?
course. Oo.
Which I understand. But sometimes what would end up happening is they want their logo to even be bigger than ours. But parang that's not a sponsorship, that's like a partnership. So I started to think to myself, okay, what they're actually looking for is an agency, not necessarily a sponsorship lang. Kasi they started to think, okay, can we book in influencers? By the way, can you build this life-size beauty product? Can you do this? Can you do that? I was like, iba na yon, right? That's a different thing compared to just sponsoring an event. If you sponsor an event, usually parang here's some cash and then here's some deliverables na lang that we need, like maybe some postings, some media mentions, shout outs, whatever. But when I said, okay, how come they keep asking for this and that, I said that's a different service na. So we opened Good Media to supplement that. But now we really do like end-to-end event management, influencers. We will even do the content or the shoots for the brand. So let's say earlier this year for Colorette, the beauty brand, we held one of their launches for one of their latest products. Last year, we did a bunch for Colorette also. We did for Rich Boys, the clothing brand, in Boracay, Deerface. I think you know Jonah.
Jonah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
We held a couple of events for her also. So for those naman with Good Media, it's really like the classic agency, right? But where we specialize is in influencers and community management. So a lot kasi of the brands these days like to do a community event where it's like 2 days or 3 days or pop-up open to the public na it's not just for the influencers na. It's like really open to everyone. And I think we do well at that because we started in the events for fun, right? So now whenever a brand comes up to us, I know like, okay, I know how to make, just regular consumers have fun and feel like they're influencers themselves through Good Media.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent how you're able to actually build the agency.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's why I'm so impressed by what you've done
yeah.
and over the years. And it's really something that you've created yourself. And you can see that, from my perspective, there's been a pattern of pivoting, but more
Yes.
importantly, you have a very strong entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes.
And I want to go to that
Yeah.
a bit and how you actually built that, because you've got two other businesses that you have.
Yes.
And before we discuss that, I want to take a step back
Yes.
so people get to see sort of like the secret origin of Kush,
Yes.
right? So, where did this entrepreneurial spirit begin? Because did you start
Yes.
off as an entrepreneur, Kush, or were you working for somebody else, and then
Yes.
was it the environment around you that influenced you to become
Yes.
an entrepreneur?
So
We'll start there.
I think I have a funny story. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, I was already selling halo-halo outside their house, just on the street. And I wasn't obviously the one cooking it. It was my yaya, diba?
Oo.
Preparing all of the ingredients and all. And then we would sell it at a price na super palugi na, right? Every day, we were just losing money. I think at the end of the summer, I only made 500 pesos after 2 months,
Sino kumita si Yayang kumita?
Yeah, not even me. So I would do that during the summers for fun. I think just because I would watch movies and shows, and then you know how they would say, "Oh, you sell lemonade outside your house."
Okay.
But we're in the Philippines, diba? So
Oh.
mine was halo-halo. So it started with that, but then obviously you go to school and everything. Everyone tells you to get a job for experience. I did that. I worked first for a couple agencies. I did the publication route also, right? And then there you would get a peek into planning events or meeting influencers or celebrities or working in content, developing content. And I think my biggest like moment was when I was working at an agency already, just like mine now, diba? But then I was working at an agency for almost 3 years and then COVID happened. And then I started to think to myself, wow, they were doing all of these Zoom events and things like that. And I had all of these ideas that I thought that I could do better or that I could do on my own. But maybe because they were a lot older or because, syempre, it's hard then to see the vision if, maybe my bosses, they're just focused on getting the job done rather than trying to be creative with it. And I understand it now more that I have my own agency. Kasi, syempre, the clients, you're always at the beck and call of clients. So now I understand where they were coming from. But at the time, I thought to myself, I wish they were more creative. I wish they could be more fun. And so I started to think to myself, maybe I could just do it myself. So that's when I quit my day job 2 weeks into COVID. Then I said, okay, maybe I'll really go into the clothes, which then turned into the events and everything else.
So let's go back a bit more.
Yeah.
When you were the agency,
Yes.
what did you pick up from that experience, which you keep up to now? I mean, that helped you as a business person, as an
Yes.
entrepreneur.
Fake it till you make it. Because when your boss asks you to do something, you just say yes, right?
That's
you don't
right.
you don't say, maybe I'll figure it out or I'll ask muna. No. If your boss says something, you say yes because you want a raise next year, right? And I feel like it's in those key moments where you're presented an opportunity. To you, it might look like a hassle, but you can also pivot and say, oh, that's an opportunity. I can prove to my boss that, hey, I can do it. Or maybe he thought like I can't do it, but I can. Yeah.
So those are the 3 years that you were working
Yes.
for them. But what specific skill set do you think you
Ooh.
built? Well, both
Yeah.
the hard, but the soft skills is, I guess, even more
Yeah.
important. What did you build at that time that you think was very important, that led to you, that helped you out as
Yes.
becoming an entrepreneur?
I guess really just grit, right? Not allowing other people or even the universe to tell you no. if you want something, you really have to just keep on saying yes, you'll go get it, right? I mean, even with my brand, we've pivoted from pasabay to designing my own clothes to events. It's three different things, three different formats, but only you can really decide that journey for yourself. So you just have to keep trying.
I
I
see.
think a lot of people, diba, they're so scared of trying because, oh, what will people think of me?
Yeah, or
Or
what you fail,
will
di
we
ba?
fail? And then what? I thought of that also when you were closing the clothes, because what if people would say, ay, baka hindi pala mabenta, or oh, baka like this, like that. But then if you keep on thinking about what other people will say, you'll never have a unique idea. Diba? Because all the unique ideas, people will always have something to say because they don't understand it.
I see,
But
I
if you
see.
keep working towards it, I think you'll get somewhere.
Where did you evolve? Because you said you worked for the agency.
Yes.
Where did you evolve from that sort of like employee mindset saying, I gotta do a good job because I need to get a raise
Yeah.
to becoming, I think it's time for me to become my own employee? Because not everybody can do that because,
Yes.
they're so comfortable with a job
Yes.
that they will stay there sometimes for the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah. So basically, typical 9 to 5. But for me, I would finish all my work 12. The rest of the 5 hours, I was pretending to work. Right? And I get it. Now that I'm a boss also, I'm sure my employees are the same here and there. But what ended up happening was I started to think to myself, oh, I wish I can optimize my time better. I wish I could be doing something right now. Kasi kaya pa eh. I'm not tired. I just have my boss to attend to. And I think weeks went on, especially during COVID, because they didn't really know how to manage us in those first 2 weeks, diba? Kasi you didn't know, should we be planning the event? Should we pause it? So I found myself not really lying, but like pretending that I was working slower than I really was. Then I said, I should just stop already and just find something that'll keep me busy because I like being busy. I don't like turning my mind off even for 10 minutes. So when I would pretend to like la-di-da,
Yeah,
like what's going on, I was also boring myself. So I think I started to get bored, and then I realized maybe I should do something else na.
Okay. So when you quit, had you already put up that pasabay business by the
Yes.
time? Or was it while you were about to quit, you were doing the pasabay business?
While I was about to quit, basically anytime I had to leave, usually I was traveling and I was doing the pasabay business.
So you were doing it sort of like on a part-time basis.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would buy a little extra stock here and there so that I have pa while I'm not traveling.
And how were you able to manage that when the COVID hit? How did the pasabay business work for you?
So from that, diba, so I started from pasabay, and then Shopee started uploading a lot of the same clothes that I was buying in bulk or like wholesale, drop
And
shipping.
you were just ordering them by the time from Thailand already.
Thailand or China directly, like on WeChat, like
Oh, WeChat. Wow,
WeChat,
interesting. So
yeah.
that's how you were doing it pala, your
Yes.
negosyo, huh?
And even for Thailand, I would talk to them on Facebook Messenger directly. So I was really talking to them, and then I started to notice on Shopee, it's the same what I had just ordered, but I'm more lugi because what I ordered and what I already paid for is gonna arrive in 3 weeks. It's on Shopee now, right? So I was in such a tough spot. That's why I started to think, okay, it's either I go all in on this or I just keep sticking to my day job and wondering, like, oh, what do I do with my time? Yeah.
So when that happened to you, well,
Yeah.
before that, no, this is what
Yeah.
I find interesting. How were you able to converse with these people from there? Because not only the language barrier,
Yeah.
but the credibility issue. Na
Yes.
are these genuine sellers, diba?
So I'd never been to China, but at least for Bangkok, I would go to the stores themselves. And a lot of them would say, oh, if you want to buy bulk, if you want more sizes, they'll really give you their number there. So yeah, I would go. Sometimes I would buy tickets using the Sebpak Piso sale. So Bangkok round trip, I'd spend less than 5,000.
Wow.
Right? Which is not bad. Plus travel tax and baggage. But that wasn't bad. And then 3 days, I'd buy everything. And then come home with everything. So I think in 3 or 4 trips, we built trust already at a low cost, right? That's really not much kasi your patong on the clothes could be even double. Depending on the design and the style. And then we got to a point where some of them were already recommending other stores. Yeah. And then for China naman, I also talked to one lady from Bangkok. And then she said, oh, this is my other supplier. Like, if you want more, just message her directly. And then she would get a cut from that
Okay.
referral.
Okay.
So it's like word of mouth also, but then me having to go there also personally and buy sometimes.
Very interesting. So
Yeah.
you pivoted from this one. You said, "Okay, I've got to do something else,"
Yes.
and you were just lucky, or it was just serendipitous. The timing was that
Yes.
things were opening up by the time you had stopped
Yes.
doing when the clothes were medyo
Yes.
alanganin the clothes
Yeah.
because they were coming in. So the timing
Yes.
was good. In other
Timing
words.
was good and I had the time also. I said, okay, I can really focus on this because it's COVID.
So from this one, from after the clothes is done, how did
Yes.
you start wrapping up and moving on to the next business?
Yeah. To designing the clothes or
But
to yeah.
I
So
forgot you had to design the clothes portion,
from
right? So,
that
okay.
yeah, so from that step I said, okay, what we're going to do is just warehouse sales style. Like a lot of the clothes I was selling for 50 pesos, 100 pesos, just so it goes. Because it was taking up space. I just needed a little bit lang of capital to start. So what I started to do was buy plain shirts and then just print on it, embroider on it, start there. Like I was only doing t-shirts or sweatpants and then embroider lang. So very small things. And embroidery, it's how much lang naman, like a couple hundred pesos per. So if it's a big design. So I started to do that and parang save lang on the small, like low hanging fruit kind of clothes. Now, okay, it's a shirt with a design, pants with a design. Until at some point we were selling about 800 to 1,000 pieces a month of clothes.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
did you know that these designs would work?
Trust. Trusting lang. I would post teasers on social media. And I think what really helped was I would make the followers or our community members involved in the process. So if there were 3 designs, I'll really post it even before it launches.
Parang pilot testing.
Yeah, and be
Okay.
like, hey, which ones do you guys like? You decide na lang. And I would let them choose. I'd let them vote on it talaga.
Wow.
And so they felt like, okay, I'm part of this journey. Or sometimes, let's say a product, I would say, oh, we'll do a giveaway. If you're able to name this product, you'll get the product for free. We'll send it to you for free. So a lot of it was building the relationship with the customers directly.
Interesting. Then from there, eventually, you stopped
Yeah.
designing. Then you went into
Events.
into events.
Yes.
Why did you stop designing and go into events? I mean, if you're doing good
Yes.
in terms of the number of sales.
Doing good in terms of sales, but not doing great in terms of my personal standard for quality. Parang, I think for me, if I could have had better quality, I would have been a lot happier. But we don't have access to, at least in the Philippines, diba? We don't have as much tela as we do in Vietnam or Thailand when it comes to clothing. That's why shopping is so cheap there. So one, again, COVID at the time, waiting for deliveries of tela, of fabric, limited availability of what I liked. And I felt like they're competing with Shopee, Shein, and all the fast fashion things. I said, wow, you really need at least like 5M in capital, like starting capital, to make sure that this is sustainable. If not, what ends up happening is every collection is just saving for the next collection. You can't plan in bulk.
You can't grow also the
You can't
business.
grow.
Uh-oh.
You can't scale. So I said, I'm tired na. Parang the margins were too small for what I wanted it to be.
And for the effort putting into it.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
effort you're putting into it. I still want to do clothes down the line, but now that I have more capital, I see like, okay, it's just a timing thing. Of when I have the time, I can do it.
Okay. Then eventually, when you went into the
Yes.
events, no, what did you, when you started building the company, this is what I find interesting,
Yes.
that you've built these people from good gang to
Yes.
good media. Did you just transition people from good gang to good media?
Some. I said, okay, some of you guys I feel would be better fit client facing or client forward. Some of you guys would be better facing the consumers or the vendors. Because it's 2 different kinds of people, right? Like someone that's facing the client probably has worked in agencies, worked in brands, but people that are facing, let's say, the vendors for the markets or the consumers at the parties, you probably have to be younger, higher energy, can relate to them. Parang it's 2 different kinds of people relate to 2 different markets, right? Either the consumers or the client. So we started to split up the team and then start to hire a little bit of pieces like here and there for both.
I find this very interesting
Yeah.
of you building what's a very young team, right?
Yes,
I'm
everyone's
guessing
too
that-
young.
I guess that they're even younger than you.
Yes.
Some of them are younger than you. So as you were building the team, I want to know, did you know, as you were building the team, how did you construct the team? I mean, that I find very interesting.
Yes. But also, that's my worst, that's my weak spot. I know now, I think after a few years of doing this, that's my weakest spot. I don't fire when I'm supposed to fire. I'm a little too lenient. So at the time when I was constructing the team, to be honest, it was based on ano lang, like, okay, are you a hard worker? Can you learn? That's it. I hired too many generalists at the start. I should have hired more specialists talaga, which I know now. But back then, because you're also such a young company, you don't know those things. As long as someone's willing to work, go. You want to give the person the opportunity. So when I was hiring back then, I would just hire almost anybody and everybody that wanted to work and had a story to tell. You know, a lot of the people that I would hire wouldn't even finish college, but some of them are the best workers, you know? Or sometimes you hire this person that graduated from this school that did this, that did that, and then 3 months into the job, they quit just because they don't feel like working na. So you really can't tell. But now I think if I look back on those times, I would have hired more specialists.
I see.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. You've gone through much, and you haven't even hit 30 yet,
Not
right?
yet, no.
Yet. Oh, and I find it impressive that you're able to build a company
Yes.
in this specific way. Now, you know, there are things that I understand as a
Yes.
traditional marketer. I went through
Okay.
through brand management,
Yeah.
and you know, I can think strategies
Yes.
through, but it's a bit different now when you look at this generation. There are things that are unique to this generation where, from a marketing standpoint, it's not intuitive to me
Okay.
anymore. But
Like
are
which one?
intuitive to in general. I need you to help me understand what's the sort of like the psyche of marketing right now to this generation. If I was going to give
Yes.
advice to entrepreneurs and marketers out there, they're looking at this
Like one
generation.
now?
What because you're so agile, and you know,
Yes.
even if I couldn't do what you're doing, I could think it, but I wouldn't be able to execute it, right?
Yes.
So can you help me break down a bit more how to
Okay.
understand the market nowadays?
Well, I think to start with, now everyone has access, right, to creating content and consuming content. Back then, it was so limited. You'll only see an artista on TV. Now, even the artistas, they're on YouTube, they're doing this. That said, everyone has the space, which also makes it so noisy, right? So the biggest question that a lot of people asking is, how do you stand out? How do you market if everyone can make a TikTok, if everyone can do this, do that? I think it boils down to having a unique personality and being bold with it and not copying other people.
Do you feel lost, doubting yourself, and tired? You question your worth and existence? Well, I'm here for you. Hey, this is Gailey Chavez, and I'm the host of Free Yourself Podcast. My podcast talks about self-love, self-discovery, and growth. This is for everyone who wants to live their fullest life and become the person that they could be. Let me help out and remind you that this is your life, your path, that you are not broken, and you are worth it. Catch me every Friday at 8 p.m. See ya!
Because what ends up happening, syempre, diba, you see a nice video, you're like, oh, I want to be like that. Which I understand, me also, right? If I see someone with a nice outfit, I'll say, oh, I want to copy that, I want to copy that. But it's oddly enough, whenever I'm trying to be like aesthetic or cool or like this, that's when a video tanks. And I think all my best videos or all our best content or even the best sales we've done is because it's so unique. So investing in knowing who you are as a brand and what makes you different, and then doubling down on that rather than trying to be something you're not or copying another brand or, you know, assimilating because you start to think, that's what these people like, so I'll be like that, diba? I feel like that's when you lose. You really just have to double down on what makes you different from everything.
Give me an example of
Yeah.
something that
Okay.
tanked for you, and
Yeah.
something that was so unique, but you know, medyo,
Yeah.
you know, you were of
Interesting.
two minds. Parang okay, I might not release
Yes.
it this one, but then eventually, wow, it did really good.
Yes. Okay. What did tank to me? I think there were a couple concepts or events that we've done because I said, oh, I feel like oh yes, some of the party themes, right? Because I saw that it felt like a trend, right? Earlier this year, a lot of people have been reminiscing on the 2016. Oh, 2016 was such a great time. And so I thought that a lot of people wanted to do a 2016 party just because everyone was talking about it. And parang, everyone, it's such a great time. I miss the songs from these eras of ours. And I saw a couple of other people also do 2016 parties. And then me, because I specialize in large scale events, I said, oh, let's do a large one, like 2,000 people. And then I started to get feelers and nobody wanted to go. You know, like you'd think that because everybody's talking about it, oh, surely it would sell. Yun pala, they're like, no, I'm bored with it na. By the time they talked about it that much, they were bored na.
Wow.
Because everyone's already seen it on their feeds. Everyone's already seen it on their feeds, or people have tried to throw their own parties, even if it's smaller, ganun pa rin. So, yeah, we didn't throw the party. We planned maybe 2 weeks. And then I said, okay, let's not do it na lang.
Wow.
That, just like that, you know, you waste your time, your energy, oculars, going to an event that costs money also. But something that did well at the time, so before matcha picked up, I was already drinking matcha and I've always enjoyed it. But I've been to a lot of the coffee festivals kasi. And I used to tell myself, oh, I really hope that I can do, you know,
A
one
matcha fest or something
for
like
Matcha
that. Yeah.
Fest. So many of the people on my team were saying, ew, I don't like matcha. It tastes like grass. It's so gross. Keme, like that. I said, no, I swear. I feel like you guys just haven't tried it pa, or maybe you're not part of the community. Me, I drink matcha talaga. Everyone was against it, but I was like, no, I have to follow my gut. And then we did our first matcha market. And we had almost, I think, 50 or 60 vendors also. And you were still able to get 1,500 people there. You know, for the first ever matcha market that we did. I don't know if we were really, really the first. I'm the first that I know of at that scale. Because I think there were a couple others doing it, but smaller lang, parang 10, 20 vendors. I think we were the first to do it at that scale. I don't know. But that was a moment where I was really praying to myself, oh my God, I hope my team doesn't say I told you so. Diba? Imagine I have all the vendors there, they all paid rent, and then they're gonna say, oh my God, nobody came. Yeah.
Wow.
And it
So,
did well.
what I see, you have to be very agile.
You have to be very
Very
agile.
agile. And you have to be very good at social listening.
Yes.
Or seeing what's going online. Help me also a bit more. Like,
Okay.
when it comes to social listening, what do you show? What I like your first
Yes.
principle, but about marketing, right? But
Yes.
now, how about in terms of agility and social listening?
Social listening, I really like to pay attention to what people's hobbies are. I spend a lot of time just chit chat, like small talking with people. I know a lot of people say, oh, I hate small talk. It's so boring. It's so like this, like that. You can pick up a lot from a person from just basic small talk. What watch do they wear? Where do they like to shop? What are the movies they're interested in? And just like that, like if you can already find out just basic things about how they wear their clothes, what they wear, and what they spend on, that already tells you a million different things. So I really like to pay attention to those small things, or or even somebody that maybe isn't too in the know with pop culture or trends like that. There's also a lot to learn from because that's a different market din naman. So I think just learning about different kinds of people and really listening and not just saying like, oh, where'd you come from? Oh, how are you? Like that. I think it really sets you apart because when you're going to do your own thing na, let's say your own brand or your own content, you also know how to position yourself to either align with somebody you met or not, or maybe delve into a different market that you didn't think, was the one.
So you've got somebody literally in mind.
Yes.
When you come up with an event, you've got a
Yes.
persona of somebody in mind.
Yeah. So anytime I do a brand, and I've also got like a couple brands come up to me and they say, hey, can you do like a consultation with you or something like that? Sometimes I do that. But when they do that, one of the first things I tell them to do is, can you describe the person going? And not just like the target market. Because I think I see that a lot in decks. They say, oh, our target market is 21 to 30, keme, like that. And I'm like, no, can you actually describe what that person looks like? What that person dresses? What perfume does that person use? Or what does that person like to eat? Does that person like to go to the gym? Not go to the gym? What time does she sleep? Like I really create a character almost in my head as to who the consumer will be.
And when you do, how do you market to that consumer? So now you know who the consumer is.
Yes.
How do you market to that consumer who you've created the persona of?
I usually, once I find that persona, I usually stalk also online. Like, okay, now that I have this vision in my head of like, this is our kind of consumer, I try to find people online, like on the internet lang of, okay, who are these kinds of people? And sometimes it'll just start with, hey, can I send you this free product? Or hey, can you follow this account? And then once you follow it, I'll send it to you. Or maybe getting their input on something and really like connecting straight to the source.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. If you look at I guess the
Yes.
marketing landscape right now for people going for the market that you market
Yes.
to, I mean, is that Gen Z? Is it what
Gen Z and
Gen
Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha?
Yeah.
Um, what do you find that marketing agencies or marketing events are not doing correct? That you think that they could still, from your
Yes.
perspective, and you look at them going, oh, you know what? Let me give you some advice here.
Yes.
$1 million advice, million peso advice right now. Oh.
I think they're all just being a little too hard sell still. I know it's, the word hard sell is thrown around a lot, but now more than ever, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they know when it's an ad 1 second into a video. They don't even have to be told that, oh, this is an ad or have the hashtag like ad in the post or anything. They already know. So sometimes I notice it with a lot of agencies or brands, they'll shell out millions on an ad or on influencers or celebrities. I would even say to redirect the funds, you can pay one big celebrity or you can go with 1,000 micro influencers for the same cost, right? I'm not saying don't book the celebrities. They still, add so much value and provide, a lot of sales for a lot of brands. But especially those that are still trying to make sales or starting out, I would say really just invest in smaller niche communities, normal people that aren't even influencers yet. And chances are you're going to get more sales out of organic content than ads.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Talk about content. Tell us a bit more
Yeah.
about content nowadays.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think people should be doing and not doing in terms of content, especially when they
Ooh.
want to get to the market?
I think in terms of content, if they are somebody that's not yet known, right? Let's say they're starting from scratch lang talaga. They have to work with what they have. A lot of people come up to me because I do beauty content. I'll work with beauty brands and they'll say, oh, I want to be in, like those beauty events or whatever, but I don't have makeup pa. I don't have a lot of makeup. And I always say that might be relatable for your audience. Use what you have. You don't need naman the nicest microphone, the nicest camera, lighting. Di naman kailangan yon. There's this one girl I saw on TikTok. She gets ready and it looks like her house is, not that nice or not that, privileged. Parang it's just in the province. And yet people follow her because they say, oh, my house looks like that. It's aspirational to me that, there's people out there that I can relate to still.
Wow, very interesting. Now, it looks like, well, from how I see it, your
Yes.
career path was marked by a lot of, quick movement,
Yes.
agility you did there.
Yes.
And before you could fail, let's move on here.
Yes.
But then, were there times that you went on this career path and you said, oh man, I shouldn't have left my job?
Yes. I also opened a franchise, right? I had like a tempura franchise. And I now looking back, it's just money that's sitting. I have all of the fryers pa at home, I have the freezer and everything. But I realized food like that is not for me, where I don't have creativity over the food. I didn't know kasi before coming into it. Like, for example, when you work with a franchise, even the oil you have to buy from your
That's right.
from
your franchisor.
I didn't really read the fine print. I should have done that. But if you don't follow those rules, you can also have penalties.
Yes, that's
or
right.
it's a lot. So parang in the first 3 months, you're lugi talaga because you spend a lot on the franchise. The next 3 months, you're trying to make sales. It's like not really worth it unless you go with a really good, I guess, right? Like maybe like Potato Corner or something like that. That's very known. If you don't go with something that's very known, it's tough. So I think I lost a lot of money on that, but I also still have all the equipment eh. So I thought to myself, maybe I'll open it again if I find like a mall space lang na sure. But I lost a lot of money.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
were there times that you wanted to give up?
Yeah.
Or because you felt, I failed too much and I want to give up.
Yes. Because even just that one, that franchise one, because I said, oh, that's like 300K then.
Yeah.
And at that age, I was what, 19? 300K when you're 19, it's like,
That's the
your
world to you. Yeah.
It's like your world's ending. So I said, oh, maybe I'm not for business talaga. Maybe I need to work in a company and like this and like that. But then I realized, okay, maybe this is just a pivot, right? This is just a learning moment na you just have to stick to what you know. I just thought, everyone always says, oh, open a franchise kasi that's passive income. It's not, right? I just listened to other people. But now looking back, okay, I think it just taught me na, okay, you have to listen to your gut first.
I'm as I listen to you,
Yeah.
there's this sort of like, resilience. Na parang, okay, it's okay. And that you wanna get it.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm gonna lose, but I can move on.
Kaya.
And there's also this parang I'm always looking for opportunity. Where did
Yes.
this come from for you? I'm trying to figure out. Did it come from school, from
Yes.
family, from
I always wanted more out of something. Always. Like if I had any experience, I always say, what's next? I don't know where it comes from, but I also just know it's in my nature and my personality that, let's say I'm at an event. If the event isn't even done yet, I'm already thinking, okay, how can we book the client again? How can I have my next event again? Maybe I'm just bored all the time, where if I'm left alone for 5 minutes, I start thinking of the next thing again. I was just in Boracay for the past week. And because I had so much time to myself, I said, I wish I could open this. I wish I could do that na naman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the same. We have.
Yeah.
I call it the lens of opportunity.
Yes.
You can never take it. It's like for entrepreneurs, you can never
Yes.
take that off wherever you go.
Yes.
I often tell people that you can tell the difference between an entrepreneur traveling abroad and a
Employee.
regular person
Yeah.
going abroad. Because when a regular person goes abroad, he comes back home with pictures and
Yes.
stories. But when an entrepreneur goes abroad, he goes,
Ideas.
I saw this idea. I saw
Yeah,
this
I saw
idea
this
over
idea.
there. How can I do it over here? I saw this business over there. How can I bring it back to the
Here,
Philippines? And
yes.
exactly that's how.
I try new food. I don't think, I'm craving for that.
Yeah.
No, I think,
How can I-
how can I make
how can
this
I make it,
Pinoy?
right?
Yeah, how can I make this
Exactly.
Pinoy? How can I make this? Yeah.
Exactly. That's how I often say how entrepreneurs think. Now, I'm going to move a bit forward
Yes.
with the discussion. And then right now, I know that you've got two more businesses which you've put up, which is also very interesting. One is another tub.
Yes.
And also one is photo house. Now, tell us
Yes.
how that all fits into your
Yes.
into your empire.
No. So when you do events, right, you always have to have food, regardless. So small event, whether it's good gang or good media for a branded event. And I think my mom, she bakes. My grandma also bakes. I'm always around people that bake. And I've never been the best baker. I'm not really the kind of person that really weighs or down to the gram. If you tell me to bake a cake, I know it from my head lang. And the pudding, over the past years, I started actually when I was like 7 or 8 years old, because my grandma, she's known for apple pies. She sends it out every Christmas. And then at the end of the baking season, she'd have all of this extra like pieces of the apples, the cinnamon, sugar, whatever. What I would do is I would just make a simple cream, and then I would make it in a bowl and just scoop it. And then it started with that, I guess, telling myself, now, okay, it's just scraps, really, scrap dessert. I think about maybe 15 or 16 years old, that's when I started playing around with other flavors. I said, this is good. What if I did that with strawberries? What if I did that with this? And I started to gift it every Christmas just to my friends, whatever flavor I would come up with lang. My friends would joke with me, like, it's so good, you should sell it. But you don't really trust them, diba? Because it's your friends. Syempre, you gave them food, they'll say it's good. Diba? Diba? It's free na nga. They won't say. Until one of my friends last year, I gifted a new flavor to her, which was banana biscoff. I was like, you try this one. She shared it with her other friends. And then they started to message her and hound me, say, hi, I want to buy more. I want to buy more. I said, I don't sell it. That was in December. And then I started to post it online. By February, we were only selling about 50 tubs per week. And we changed the flavors every week. Kind of like, crumble cookies, right? In the States, they change their menu every week. Just said, okay, I'm going to copy them.
So there's sort of like a FOMO experience
Yes, FOMO experience
they
again.
can order now, right?
Must now, yeah. And so we kind of copied them. And so now we do different pudding flavors every week, also different menu. And now, since we opened in Feb, it's only been about 3.5 months. Yeah, we've sold over 3,000, going 4,000
Wow,
tubs.
fantastic. How do you distribute them?
We just we have a website where everyone can pre-order. We don't have same-day delivery or anything like that unless we do our pop-ups. And we just did our last pop-up in Rockwell. It was a collaboration with KitchenAid. It was really good. We've gotten invited to do other pop-ups, but I'm very choosy about where I want to do it because it is such a premium product.
Yeah.
Since each tub is at least 450 to 600 pesos.
I see.
So it's not something, that I guess the, like passerby would just purchase, diba? So I'm very picky about where we join. But on top of that, here in June, we're going to Cebu to do a 3-day pop-up there. And then I think July, we might do Davao or Bacolod.
It's still with the pudding.
Yes, still with the pudding.
Wow.
And now I've made over 100 flavors already. right? So crazy.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
because your mind can't stop coming up with
With the
ideas.
flavors,
The
right?
flavors and the ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, you also have right now a photo house.
Yes.
So
It's a
they
photo
seem to be all emerging from
booth
your
event.
from the event. The event gave you
Yes.
so many different ideas of creating ideas around events, right?
Around events or what an event needs. So with the photo booth naman, obviously every branded thing nowadays, they always want the photo booth. Even when you go to Rockwell, there's a line for the photo booth. And I said, oh, how expensive, how cheap is it to make my own? To be honest, it was quite pricey to get the program, the machine, and the build. But now, because I have my own events company, I can just funnel it there. It's kind of just a service that we can have. But it also allows me to work with other agencies. Because other agencies will message me. Let's say they won the pitch, diba? The brand got them. The agency will still message me because they want the photo booth from me.
Yes,
So
yes.
parang it still gives me an opportunity pa rin to be part of the branded experience. Even if my agency wasn't booked, at least my photo booth was.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of the example of this guy named Joey Spirito of Tent
Okay.
King. He's one of the largest. Actually, he's one of the largest distributors of food products in South Luzon. But he's the Tent King. Tent
Okay.
King. But the thing is, he said when he figured out the tent, he said to himself, you know what? What does an event need to fill it
Yeah.
up? So he actually started his business with balloons. So balloons. Then eventually
Wow.
did tents. Then he said, "Oh, we need trucks to deliver things."
Yes.
And eventually he said, "They need to do catering." So he took care of the
Yes.
catering. Then they need chairs. They need premium chairs. So
Yes.
if you go to Joey, he's the king of South Luzon for events. All these different items,
Yes.
he's got ready for them, and you're exactly doing the same thing,
Yes.
particularly for
I'll
your
be
events.
Like, queen. Like,
Queen, exactly.
Yeah, event queen.
And I guess right now that's giving you more ideas to say,
Yes,
okay, what are the
okay.
other things that I can
Yes.
actually do?
Now nga, I've started to think, you know what's happening right now? My driver, my personal driver, I make him deliver orders then for my pudding.
Yes, exactly.
Because sometimes like I won't leave the house. I'll be home, let's say 8 hours in a day. I'll say, Kuya, ikaw na mag-deliver so that it can, move faster. So now I'm thinking, okay, should I have my own riders na rin and do all of this na rin?
Yeah, so the ideas kind of iterate from
Yes.
doing all these different
It's like
business things.
mushrooms, right?
Exactly. Now, I know that you're a fountain of different ideas, Kush. But then, are there business opportunities that you see emerging out there? Because I know that you want
Yes.
to take them all, but are there ideas that you can share that you say, I see for other entrepreneurs they can still get in from your event space, from your event
Yes.
mind that you won't necessarily get into, but these are good opportunities that you see other entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, can venture into.
I think a lot of female entrepreneurs still, it's a great time to get into fashion now, surprisingly, because a lot of them, I think, or even myself included, I'm looking for more unique pieces that are not being sold on Shopee, Shein, or fast fashion websites. I see a lot of young entrepreneurs winning when they're the ones physically sewing their own clothes and sharing the journey or the process. Because when it comes to, let's say, the personalization of it, right? I think a lot of the customers now like the human touch to a product. So something that makes our pudding different is every single tub, I handwrite their name. And then we tie a ribbon around it. It feels like a present or it feels like a gift just for them. So clothing, I've seen a couple bikini stores or swimwear stores pop up now where it's really themselves, the founders, sewing it and then taking their customers along with them on the journey of like, okay, I'm making this piece now for my customer like this. And they're able to charge a lot. Like I saw this one girl, she's in the US though, but I think it's picking up there a lot where she was able to charge for one swimsuit handmade by her $200.
Wow. Because
know?
it's sort of like, I call it mass customization.
Yes.
It's where each one feels like it's made
Just for
me.
you.
And we often tell people, people nowadays, like when it comes to food
Yes.
in our market, people are not just buying your food, they're buying the story behind your
Yes.
food. So they're not buying your fashion, they're
They're
buying
not
the story that
story.
went behind the
They're-
fashion. And
Yeah, so anything with a story, if you have a story to tell, or I think there's another store, I think it's called My Mom Made It. Because all the clothes, literally her mom is the one who makes it.
I see.
So sometimes, a lot of people, kasi they think, okay, how can I scale? How can we sell 10,000? How can we sell 50,000? I think there's also the gold in just being small.
Yeah.
Being exclusive and pricing
Parang
higher.
the limited edition.
The limit, yes.
So,
If there's another thing picking up, which a lot of people have been purchasing lately, leather journals, crafting. The crafting market is going crazy in Manila. Some people have been buying ball pens that are like 10,000, 20,000 pesos. And you'd think they're old, maybe like 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds. No, they're in their teens.
Wow.
Yeah. Like they're not buying nice shoes anymore. They're saving up for one ball pen.
Ah, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. This is the first time I'm coming across this one. It's really creating almost one of a kind customized
Yes.
items and just charging good value for
Good
it.
value for it just because it's one of one.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Kush, I've learned so much from this discussion with
Wow,
you.
thank you.
I'm very impressed, and I'm very humbled that you were able to come
No,
over
of
here.
course.
Now, as we start to close out this discussion, what are the sort of, after your journey, your own journey of being your own CEO, for all these years, from employee to CEO to constantly putting up new businesses, what are the three sort of key takeaways that you want? Especially, and for me, it's very important
Yes.
because my daughter,
Yes.
your cousin, they also want to know. They want to know what can we empower these young
Yes.
girls who want to become entrepreneurs as well? What are the three key takeaways that you want young girls to know, or female entrepreneurs to become truly empowered as they take their own
Yes.
entrepreneurial journey?
To start, I really would say still do the 9 to 5 job. I think a lot of people now, because maybe they'll watch this podcast or they'll watch, other content and say, I want to be a boss na agad. You can't do that without also learning how to be an employee. And you can't tell your staff what to do or how to do it if you didn't do it first. So there is power still in being an employee. And, not everyone naman is cut out for businesses. But if you want to have a successful business, you also have to know how to work with a team. And being a great team player, I think you can only learn from being in a company. I think that's my first one. My second one is knowing how to be yourself in rooms where, sometimes I'll walk into a room with a lot of other very successful businessmen and women, and they're so successful, right? Sometimes I get shy and like, oh no, like they're a lot smarter or more accomplished than me. But even when I'm in those rooms, just because I'm being myself or being candid, surprisingly, they'll tell me too that, oh, I learned a lot from this, or oh, I should work with you on this. So just keep putting yourself in uncomfortable situations or in, places outside of your comfort zone, and just be yourself, and you'll never know like what you could learn from that. I think is really a good one. And then the last is it's never too late to start again. If you feel like you're going to fail early on, it's okay. Because I've probably almost failed 3 times, actually failed 10 times, and that's just part of the process. You have to get comfortable with failing.
That's
Because
right.
the sooner you know that, it's okay to fail, the sooner you can get back up. Because the other people that make it like dum-dum na, oh my God.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Oh no. And then it's just one big pity party of, oh, I can't do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. No, that's just going to stop you from, possibly succeeding. But you'll never succeed if you stay in that
Exactly.
headspace.
Because sometimes here in the Philippines, they want the failure to feel personal. Like,
Yes.
I want you to, you have to feel it. But I
Yeah.
realize over
You
time,
don't
to
have
make a mistake, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's
it's
okay. You
okay.
fail, you cry because your ego was
Yes.
hurt. But
You lose money,
You lose
but-
money, but that's I call it tuition fee.
Yes.
Failure is your tuition fee.
It is.
In becoming a much better entrepreneur in the
Yes.
future. There's no successful entrepreneur I know who did not fail
Yes.
in the past.
I've seen those other people, they said, oh, I had to have 7 failures or 7 bad businesses until my 8th was the good one.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
And then that's the one that made them a billionaire, right?
Exactly, every time.
Yeah.
Kush, thanks so much for joining
No,
us over
thank
here.
you.
Now, if people want to work together with
Yes.
Kush and your agency, how do they get in touch with you?
Just my Instagram is okay. It's at KILLAKUSHLA.
And with that, thank you so much,
Thank
Tila Kush, for
you.
joining us over here in the RJ Ledesma
you.
Podcast. We will see you in the next podcast. Thanks, guys.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.